Hello and welcome with this new broadcast of our podcast where we talk with people all around the world who are working each in their own way to make the world a more peaceful place. And today I'm very happy that I can talk to Samar. Samar is an international development practitioner, originally from Palestine, from Bethlehem, but she has worked all around the Levant area in Iraq, Lebanon, Palestine, and even beyond. So I'm very happy I can talk to you, Samar, and to delve into the issue, to try to understand a little bit more about what life is like in Palestine, and maybe focusing a little bit on the other area that you hear less about. Of course, the news is a lot about Gaza, and rightfully so, but a lot is happening also on the West Bank, and that's where you're from. You're from Bethlehem. Can you tell a little bit about how life was growing up in the West Bank?
Thank you, Jakob. Actually, I would like to share my personal life experience to take you in a journey how things like has been changing and creating these two imbalance two countries or states. I'm from Bethlehem, which is like 10 kilometers from south of Jerusalem. And my school was in Ramallah. And like I had to take the bus from Bethlehem to Ramallah. And the journey was around 25 minutes. Mm-hmm. It was very smooth. I had to change two buses, one from Bethlehem to Jerusalem, then another one from Jerusalem to Ramallah.
And this is the end of the 80s somewhere, no?
Yes, this was end of the 80s, yeah. Then, like, by time, like, there are, like, the checkpoints started with one person was sitting on the street, Israeli soldier, holding his gun, and we had to stop every passenger who was crossing from Bethlehem to Jerusalem. Luckily, I was a student and I was young. So I went through this a bit smoother than others. Then this one person, like by time, had an umbrella. He was sitting on an umbrella. Then again, it changed. He became in a room with a table, and also we had to cross and check again our IDs, the reason why we are crossing from Bethlehem to Jerusalem. Then by the time, this also changed, and like it became more restricted in terms of movement. Mm-hmm. If we can access or not access Jerusalem. And they start putting more conditions in order to pass, like we need to a specific permit. And then I changed my way. I had to cross a wall, and sometimes there were like a soldier were hiding there. If they caught us, they asked us to go back to Bethlehem, and if they don't see us, so we cross the borders and go to the school. And this journey was for around 6 years. Mm-hmm. Or more, mm-hmm. Maybe more. Then last year I was in Bethlehem. I wanted to go from Bethlehem to Jerusalem, and it became totally different structure and way of crossing the two cities. I had to go like through a very strict borders. They have to check. I have to take off every single thing on me, like my bag, my watch, my phone, and put it on a machine. They have to check me. and maybe they will let me pass or not. But also this, like passing the borders or crossing the two cities is a conditional if I have a permit to go there or not. So the journey from Bethlehem to Ramallah, now they created for us a new roads and ways through the mountains. It's called fire valleys. It's a bit dangerous. There were a lot of accidents there because it's like it was not designed for cars, and they started building it so Palestinian people, they can go through this way. So now the journey from Bethlehem to Ramallah, before the war, it was around 1 hour, 15 minutes, with around 3 checkpoints, yeah. But these days after the war, the journey from Bethlehem to Ramallah, it could take like around 4 hours with unpredictable number of checkpoints, and maybe you pass and maybe not. So this is the daily life experience, and it's sometimes really difficult to deal with it, especially if you are passing the cities for a health reason. Someone is sick, someone like has a work. It's really a lot of stress and frustration.
Yeah. So you describe in your lifetime actually traveling to something that you could call one country, and slowly the buildup of checkpoints and restrictive measures, and even to the point that you can be actually refused at the border. You cannot even travel.
Yeah.
From 25 minutes, if you can travel from 25 minutes to 4 hours. So you've seen it also after 7th of October. That was a dramatic change as well.
Yeah. Yeah, it's also, I see it in a totally different way. I was in Palestine last month, December 23rd, and I had to go there for a family reason. And after I crossed the borders from Jordan to Palestine, so the first city I have to enter is Jericho. So in order to enter Jericho, there was a checkpoint. And also in order to leave Jericho, another checkpoint. And they were like closing it. So we had to find another alternative way. So again, in order, there is a lot of settlers on the way from Jericho to Bethlehem. Again, another checkpoints to enter the Bethlehem, and to leave Bethlehem. It was a horrifying also. It took me 3 hours to go to Hebron.
How much would that normally be?
Usually there is no checkpoints.
So that would
because I'm passing through West Bank. I'm not. I'm driving through streets called C, and these C areas, it's a shared area. We can drive there, and also there are Israeli people also driving there, and sometimes there's checkpoints, but it wasn't like this after the war.
I would like to ask you a bit about this ABC, because it's super confusing for someone who is not who hasn't studied the Palestine question. Maybe let's first talk about, you mentioned the settlers.
Yeah.
I think for people to realize what can you explain what a settler is, and what is he doing in Palestine, in the West Bank?
Yeah, I'm not expert in this, but because I experience it on a daily life, so I became aware of it. And this division came after Oslo Agreement, who authorized each area. So people who live in West Bank, they call the A area, and the Palestinian Authority has full control over it. But this is not the reality, because Israelis still, they can enter there, and they can kill, they can take houses, they can arrest people. So they have control over this area.
Officially, it's the Palestinian area A is where Palestinian Authority is responsible for security in theory.
Yeah, and the C areas, Still, there are Palestinian people, they are living there, but in some way it's I'm not sure, maybe military, it's authorized by Israeli. I'm not sure. I don't want to give wrong information. But because I can't see that, I have friends who live in sea area, okay, with a specific condition, like when it comes to their ID, they have Palestinian ID, but I don't have access to their house. I can't visit them.
Why not?
Because they are like, this is a very specific story, or a special story, because this is a Palestinian family. They live in, they have Palestinian IDs, and they live in an area where Israeli, they claim this area belong to Jerusalem, and it should go to under the authority of Israeli authority. And even that this family, in order to enter their house, okay, they need to have a specific permit. No one can visit them. No one can, even if they need an ambulance or there is any urgent situation, no one can go there, because still they can live there, but they can't build any extra room. They don't have access to any services that Israeli provide, like the health system or the education system inside Jerusalem, because still they are belong to Palestinian Authority. And actually the B one, I'm not aware of it, but this is my experience with A, B. And even now, when you would like to buy anything, you check, is it belong to A, B, C? Because C, it could be easily taken by the settlers. But when it comes to A, it's a bit less, you know.
And B, you're not exactly aware.
B, I'm not aware, but I can, yeah.
Okay, doesn't matter. But what I'm curious about, so you describe a situation where you live in, let's say, area A, which is controlled by the Palestinian Authority. You want to visit a friend, and you describe a situation where this friend lives in a house, and around it they build a settlement, so you cannot visit, basically. And the guy of the person living there has no rights or access to Israeli services. How does this person live? Can he go out? Can he?
This is another friend in another area.
Okay.
Also, this is another one who this is the only house in this settlement. And this settlement is totally gated. And actually they are waiting for this man to die. Because all his children, they got married, and they had to leave the house to live in another houses, okay? But all his personal occasions and events, he had to do it outside his house, because no one has access to his house. Even for him, when he wants to leave the house or enter the house, he has a specific time, according when they decide to open the gate or close it. Of course, there is a threat on a daily basis in his life, because they decided how his life should look like. So they are actually just waiting for him to die, then that's over. They will take the house, because it's the only house in a settler in the middle, close to Ramallah. It's not allowed for anyone to be there. It's not allowed even for this house to be inherited to his children, you know? So they have like control. So he just counting the days, then it will be over soon. So they have control. They are controlling many things in different ways, and always they can find a reason why this house belonged to them, and why they want to control this area for security reasons. Same with Hebron, same with Ramallah, same with Bethlehem. We can't say the war is just in Gaza. It's happening everywhere, but unfortunately, the media coverage is not there.
So what's happening if it comes to the current war? What's happening in terms of violence in the West Bank at the moment?
Yeah, it's there. It's there. I was crossing the checkpoint also last month, And for no reason, like there was another guy who was driving his car. They just stopped him and they arrested him in front of my eye. He was not throwing stones. He was just crossing the checkpoint like us, but for no reason. Also, I was checking crossing the checkpoints from Bethlehem to Hebron, and I was really horrified by there's a Israeli soldier who was pointing his gun on us. So I was not sure if he will shoot me or not, and why, what's going on, even though it was a West Bank area.
It was an A area, let's say.
Yes, it was an A area. It was inside Hebron. And all my friends now, when I talk to them, no one is leaving the city. Also, like, for example, my relatives, they have an Israeli ID because they live in Jerusalem. And now they are with their mother in Bethlehem. And they can't go for more than 10 days. They couldn't go to work because every city is closed. Like even within the West Bank, every city is isolated and separated. And if you want to leave for any reason, you need to think you will maybe you will pass or not, or maybe you will spend 5-6 hours to go through the checkpoints.
And about what we hear sometimes, I mean, it's almost nowhere in the Western media, but we know that there's also violence going on in Jenin and in Tulkarem and maybe other places as well. What is exactly going on there? Can you tell a little bit about that?
Yeah, like me, I don't know if it was in the media what happened 2 weeks ago in Jenin. It's the killing of 7 civilians. They were like just brothers and cousins. They were gathering to leave to work, and for no reason they just killed them because they are targeting also like civilian for no reason. I don't know why. Of course, they are claiming they are threatening them, but still they are targeting them for no reason. Also, when I was in my city, they like it was like mid of the night around 3:30 a.m. And there was a lot of tanks, Israeli tanks and soldiers. They entered the city. They claiming, okay, there is someone we want to arrest. They went to his house. They took him and they left the city. So it's happening on a daily life, arresting, killing, even killing children. Okay, if you are going to school or crossing a way, specific way, and there is especially when there is a settlers and Palestinian, it's you like there is a high risk on your daily life.
So what's happening in Gaza at the moment? Yeah, it's hard to even, I mean, maybe I'm asking the obvious, but how do you experience the past 3 months? How do you look at it?
It's too much. It's too much mentally. It's too much psychologically. If you look at it behind the media and the stories in the media and listen to individual stories. I have friends also from Gaza, and when I listened to their stories, it's really horrifying, you know? It's horrifying in terms, if you decide to stay at your home, it will be bombarded by the air strike. And if you decide you leave, also you will be killed by a tank or some snipers or something like this. And the experience of being displaced from place to another place, looking for safety and security, and you can't find it. Then the only things you will carry to, like, maybe you will find food or not, maybe you will find warm clothes or not, but this is also doubted a lot of things, the war in Gaza, because I have been working in the development sector, working in human rights, how Western, they are really blind. We have been promoting child protection, women empowerment, human rights, youth empowerment.
You've been working for Western organizations.
Yes, exactly, for the last more than 10 years. And now Western, they are totally silent. They are totally silent, and
including
it's not
including the organizations that you used to work for.
Yes, because always there is a donors agenda, okay, and always donors, they have their political connection when it comes to this development field. So it's a bit of a complex. It's really complex. When we are promoting, also we have to walk the talk. It's not just about we are promoting, we are providing protections, then we have to submit the UPR reports about the violations, the CEDAW reports. Then what's going on? I don't know where is it fit. There's a lot of double standards when it comes to Western about what's going on in Gaza.
But is it that you discovered this now, or did you realize that it always was the case?
No, I like, this is a very obvious case, you know. I always believe there is a hidden agenda. Okay, but I always believe we are contributing to something good when it comes to raising awareness, changing policy, promoting the human rights. Okay, but this is a very obvious and clear case that in front of everyone, but no one wants to see it or admit this is against human rights, what's going on. It's against child rights, it's against women rights. So how come this fit with our standards and international conventions and this genocide? Yeah.
So how is the feeling among Palestinians? I don't, I presume you feel betrayed.
Yeah, but okay, I have betrayed, but I have also distinguished between the government opinion and the public opinion. Because luckily, I don't want to generalize that, but like still there is a public here, like from experience in Netherlands, they are really feel that our Palestinians suffer and they have an opinion. But still, when it comes to the government, they are not on that stage yet. Even though, like especially my experience with the Dutch government, they put a lot of money in promoting women's rights, child rights.
In Palestine also.
In Palestine also, like in all Middle East. So why they are not taking?
It's for me also very strange that we can sort of, the US the same, like we are giving the most humanitarian aid to Gaza as possible. But yeah, okay, but you also give the bombs to kill the people, you know, and you also give the materials for the technical stuff for the planes to fly, and you give the fuel and this and that. So it's super double standards. I 100% agree.
Yeah, it's heartbreaking. And also I started doubting what we have been doing. Is this ethical or not?
Who has been doing?
We as a development practitioners promoting how we can stop this. What action can we take to stop this? But still, it's a bit of complex because it's not about economic, social, but there is a lot of politics within this sector.
Yes. Okay. Let's talk about that. But first, I would like to ask, like, how do Palestinians now view their future? Because in Gaza, everything seems to have been destroyed. Like all things that are necessary for life. We see. I think there's only one functional hospital now in all of Gaza. I think there's only 5 or 6 ambulances for 2 million people. We've seen hospitals being destroyed, churches, mosques, schools, universities, all being demolished. First, like, how do people in the West Bank expect something like that to happen to them as well? That's the first question. And more in general, like where do you see the future of Palestine? If you see that actually the West is supporting, of course they try to put on a humanitarian face, but we all see that they're supporting actually these actions. Like where do you see Palestine in the future? How do Palestinians feel in general?
Yeah, you know, I will be a bit sarcastic. I have a Dutch friend. When I moved here and saw the life, and I was telling her, what's worrying you in your daily life? You know, she told me maybe the curtain or the bicycle. You know, this is the people here in Netherlands. Okay, imagine the people in Palestine, they lack the basic life needs, okay? Feeling safe and secure. access to the job market or good education or health, okay? You are threatened all the time for no reason, okay? So I don't want to say they lost hope, but still they are really struggling. They are really struggling, and they feel we are a project of death on a daily basis. On a daily basis, we will be killed in any time.
Always afraid for your life.
Always you feel unsafe, unsecured on your daily life. And you are just worrying to protect what you have, if you have something, or how to secure the basic needs. Okay, so I don't know if there is hope or not, but it's a lot of struggle on their daily life. It's not about the bicycle and the curtain. It's more than this.
Do Palestinians in the West Bank expect an escalation like it's happening in Gaza or not?
Not like what's happening in Gaza for another reasons, let's put it like this. But it's happening there on a low profile.
It's already happening, but not that dramatic.
Yeah, not that problematic and not covered by media, so it's happening. Okay, and yeah, they are scared. And they are discussing what shall we do if they come and kick us out. And they have now they are reorganizing their internal life in just in case there is a plan to kick them out of Palestine. So the basic feeling of safety and security is not there. If the international community doesn't take a really strong position, it will stay like this. Because there is no, like when it comes to power, we don't have power as a Palestinian. So it will stay like this. But I would like also to be optimistic.
Of course.
Okay, and there is no occupation that stayed or last for the rest of the life. If you look to the history, you know, still there is a time when it should be end, but maybe we don't know how or when or where, but it should be end somewhere.
Yeah. So turning back to the question of, you doubt whether it's ethical what organizations are doing now. And like what you have been doing, like what should you really do? What answers do you have on that question?
Yeah, we need first of all to mobilize more actors and influencers that they can really influence their policymakers and government. And they have to take an action. Like there is a group of Dutch organizations here also, they took an action and they put a case against the government. This is like really baby step.
Yeah.
And what South Africa is doing now, I believe many European countries has to come together, and if they stand for human rights, they have to take an action collectively, collective action to stop this. Because it should not stay for like, it's too much.
And like if you talk about the ethical behavior of organizations, where does it go wrong, and how come it's so difficult apparently to just state the obvious and because they are all there, their mission is all in line, should be in line with human rights and international law, etc. How come? What makes them sort of so hesitant to speak out openly?
Yeah, unfortunately, if you look at the business model of international organizations, still, besides their vision, mission, and values, they still are driven by donors agenda, donors money.
And the donors are states usually.
Exactly, yeah. So there is also they don't know what to do. Also, they don't want to do because they want to keep the business, okay? But still, how we can satisfy our donors. But I believe if they act collectively, they come together, they can put pressure on the donors and take a strong action where we agree or disagree. Because now it's more than ethical. It's it's a turning point in our life at many levels. I haven't seen such, or I haven't read about such a genocide.
So openly and so visible for everyone to see.
It's very visible. It's very visible what's going there, and it's also very visible how Western are silent.
Yeah.
Sorry for interrupting, but an example now when what happened in the International Court for Justice, the first day was not live streamed. And the second day was live streamed. It's a bit also, this is like very obvious bias.
Yes, obviously.
Yeah.
I got a very, it seems like Israel-Palestine question brings into the picture like the whole Western structure, the whole Western way of control, and the whole Western way of the whole Western hypocrisy, basically. It brings all so clear, like it has never been so clear that the way it's also like as horrible as it is, it's horrible what we see every day on the social media, what's happening in Gaza. But it's also a learning point for me and many other people. So okay, you can see, now I see how the world works. You know, in peacetime everything seems a bit covered, and you can talk nice stuff about human rights, la 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 la. But now it's sort of Israel-Palestine brings everything into the open. We see now the ultimate control of the US and Israel basically together over the rest of the West, and the way people are being intimidated into being silent, and the double standards. So let's say white people we can protect, but you know, others is you know, it's difficult, and we all make so excuses and those kind of things. It's really a learning moment, and it's it's terrible that this has to happen to learn these things. Maybe from your expertise on women's rights, because you've been mainly as a professional, you've been working on gender and youth, etc. Looking at Gaza, what's happening? Can you sort of give a picture of what's happening in that respect to the women and children of Gaza?
Yeah, actually, I would like to mention it from sexual and reproductive health and rights. Also, it's not on media, it's not covered, but if also you listen to women daily life stories, it's horrifying. They now, like, they are trying to find a new way of living. Like, they are trying to take pills to stop their periods. They don't have access to hygiene. They are trying to do miscarriage because they don't want to go through surgery without anesthesia when giving birth. All their lifestyle, okay, has changed. They don't have access to a basic hygiene stuff. I believe, like, women, we have specific needs, and it's not there. And also it's a basic need. So yeah, the whole Gaza is struggling. Children, they have their needs. They don't have access to education, protection, health, all this, but also like women struggle are a bit like double.
Yeah.
Feeling safety and security, giving birth, having their periods, hygiene, their privacy, all this is threatened on a daily basis. So, and also it's a bit funny because there is a lot of projects is coming to focus and protect and advocate for women's sexual and reproductive health and rights. And now all the organizations are blind on this topic.
Is there any organization specifically speaking out on this at the moment?
Yeah, of course, there is a lot of organizations because they, like, especially I'm talking about the Dutch money. There is a lot of money is going to this topic in the Middle East.
Yeah.
Okay, especially from the Dutch to Palestine, Gaza. And now I'm just wondering how they will report on this.
But it cannot arrive there now, can it?
Of course, no, they can't arrive.
No, but is anyone speaking out about it? I mean,
yeah, of course, there is a lot of organizations. They are highlighting women rights, their access to the basic needs, hygiene, how yeah, of course.
Yeah. So the last question, Samar, and that is the most important for me, because for us, for many people that I talk to, and you have already touched upon it, is actually what can we do? Because it seems like the ranks are closing, you know, even it's stunning to see, like the International Court of Justice, you know, the highest UN court. Everyone actually, you see that everyone is expecting like a condemnation of Israel somehow. Even, but we don't know, of course, it's not yet obvious, but you see that, you know, the highest court of the UN, even Western states are now sort of siding with Israel. Like, I don't know if you've seen Germany deciding to join the case in favor of Israel. I think the Foreign Affairs Dutch Ministry has said yesterday, minister in Parliament, that it's not yet clear whether the Netherlands will support any, you know, statement by the ICJ. The UK is very hesitant on the ICJ. Canada also suggested they might join the Israel as intervene on behalf of Israel. So their own highest standards, absolute highest standard of the UN, and sort of the Western ultimate court, they are prepared. We are prepared to throw everything away for Israel. We are prepared to, even then, if you do look at the Netherlands, you know, we are sort of profiling ourselves, or have been profiling ourselves, and you see it even in terms of where the money goes. You also showed that we have been investing a lot in women's health, reproductive health in the Middle East, and we are spending all sorts of money on development and human rights, etc. But when Israel comes into the picture, suddenly we don't care anymore about any of that. We live in The Hague. I live in The Hague, and our organization is called after The Hague. We like to be called, you know, the city of peace and justice. But and that's why you know, we are proud that these international institutions are there. But we don't even are not really prepared to listen when they speak out. And it's so strange. So the ranks seem to be closing. I don't know how permanent that will be, but it seems that the West is just determined to accept whatever genocide is going to happen, because protecting Israel is more important than anything, than economy, than our image in the world, than anything. So it's so strange what's happening. What can we do as ordinary citizens and people who are concerned about this?
Okay, first of all, we need to think like bringing Israel to the court is a good step.
Of course.
Okay, it's a good step, and we need to see it in a very positive way.
Yes.
However, still, we need to mobilize. We need to mobilize more actors to join the force, and also we need actors, policymakers. And I believe also, I believe in the power of the civilian, who can really push and escalate from individual to local community to local authority. Then it's like chain reaction. It has also to come from the individuals who can really influence the policymaker. And collectively, because like one country, it will not be enough to enforce or to influence these giant actors. So we need to act really collectively, and we need really to strengthen the public opinion using the social media. Like media, they are really a crucial player. And they are a change, they can make a big change. If they don't influence and they don't really act in a, I will call it a neutral way, at least, if they don't want to take a side, either Israeli or Palestinian, but at least they have to deliver or convert the real picture and what's going on. So at least people, they can be aware of what's going on the field. But we should not leave it like this, because this will be escalated in a different way in a new generation. Imagine the new generation in Gaza now, who is still alive, how they will receive this in 10 years or in 20 years. So this, if there is no justice, it will be escalated all the time, and it will be there all the time. It will never stop. So I believe the international community has to stop this, has to put a lot of pressure. It's a matter of justice. And it's a matter of access to the opportunity equally for everyone, like Palestinian and Israeli. And unfortunately, there is an economic profit from this also war. We need to look at it like this. There are some countries, they are making profit. They are inventing more weapons. They are selling more weapons. So we need also to look at it from this perspective. Yeah, this is how I see it.
So ordinary people, the way is to sort of organize and to sort of also be present on social media, is what you stress, because we shouldn't underestimate the power of social media. And together put pressure on wherever we can on policymakers.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you very much, Samar, for this talk. Is there anything you wanting to say that you didn't say already?
No, that's enough.
All right. Thank you very much,
Samar. You are welcome.
It's very good to hear from you as a Palestinian, how you experience things and from your professional experience. So thank you very much. It was really enlightening, and I hope we can talk in the future later also on how exactly we can realize that pressure and how we can realize this organization in society. Thank you very much, Samar.
You are welcome. Have a good day. Bye.
Same to you. Bye-bye.